everyone, my name is Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a small little river nymph. I'm going to tie it a little larger than I normally tie it, just so it's easier for you guys to see. I usually tie this in a 14-12. This will be a 10. I don't really have a name for it yet. I haven't really ever thought about putting a name to it, but it's just a fly that I've been using in the river systems in BC for about 10 or 12 years now. I used them on the Skagit extremely successfully, out on the Bull and on the Elk River really well as well. And they're fairly simple to tie and not very difficult. So I am going to switch you over to the other camera, and then I will turn on the light so you guys can see a little bit better, because I think that's pretty dark. Yeah, it's pretty dark. So it's going to have that on. Hopefully that doesn't blind you guys too much in the other one, but just don't look at my ugly mug. So this in the vise right now, I've got a Hook-Hends BL599 in a size 10. This is what I'm going to be, roughly what I'm going to be tying. Okay, it's a little Hotspot nymph. It's really buggy and hairy and leggy. I tie it in several different ways. This is basically what I'm going to tie today. Then there's this one here, which has got a an orange hotspot in the back, orange hotspot in the front, and it's got soft hackle instead of the India cock cape. It's more using dyed pheasant, so it's more of a soft hackle style. And then I also do one like this, which has no hotspot in the front. Quite often I'll tie without a hotspot. I'll do about half and half, because I don't want that. I don't want the fish to get confused by that double hotspot. Quite often they'll get confused. They don't know which end to hit, right? So that's why I do just a single hotspot. In this one, I actually used Glow Bright or Glow Floss, whatever it's called. I think it's called Glow Bright. On the butt, you can see how that just lights right up when you hit it, eh? That butt just lights right up. So, but so does this orange fluorescent thread that I'm going to be using. So today's pattern, like I said, BL599 in a size 10 from Hook-Hends. Normally I'll do this in a 12 and in a 14. For the thread, I'm going to be using Semperfli waxed in a fluorescent red for the butt and the head. I'll be using a Semperfli Nanosilk in green, Nanosilk in a 12 watt. I'll be using the Hare's Ear Plus Gold Dub. It's got these awesome little shimmers every once in a while in it. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see that there. The odd little shimmers, and it's really leggy and buggy. I really like this stuff. I just picked this stuff up. Really like it. And I'll be using for the hackle an India cock cape and a badger. Okay. Sometimes if you want, you can take the little tiny little eyes from your jungle cock cape here and put them on as well. I don't really know if it makes much difference, and to be honest, they're a bit of a pain in the ass to put on because they're pretty tiny. So as always, just start your thread. Doesn't matter if they're touching wraps at this point. Now it will start to matter, because now I want to go down around that bend quite a ways. I'm going to come back about a half an inch, and then I'm going to go back over it again. I'm going to go a bit further so it's almost like a taper, and then back up again, and then open wraps back to the front. Do a couple of whip finishes in there. Being challenged with my whip finishing today. I'll figure out a way to mount my vise so that it's not getting bumped around, because I do that all the time and knock you guys out of focus. So all these Nanosilks, GSPs, anything slick, make sure you wax them. Wax. I know that there's a few guys out there, like one of the guys I watch a lot on YouTube, Lindsay Simpson. He's awesome. If you don't know him, go check him out. The guy's really good. The three guys I watch a lot are Davey McPhail, Lindsay Simpson, and M-A-K flies. They're phenomenal fly tyers. They're all British, but they're all really good fly tyers. So just bring that to the back end here. Now this is a Nanosilk, so Just going to give it a counterclockwise spin because it'll flatten out on you. Now I'm going to split this thread, and it might be a little difficult because I lifted that light away. Oh, I got it. This Nanosilk is probably the easiest splitting thread I've ever had. It's amazing how easily it splits. So, and it's so strong. But yeah. So I'm going to take my little bunchy. It's not quite enough for what I want. But just a tiny bit more there. I can always strip some off if it's too much. So I'll put that in there. Let that go. I'm going to spread this out in my dubbing loop, if you want to call it that, because that's what it is. You just did it by splitting. And then give my bobbin a spin clockwise. Okay, and I'm holding it here with my finger. I'm just letting it hang there. And then I'm going to let it go slowly and let that spin get into the material. And I'm pushing up like this. Right, I'm pushing, let's see if you can see that, I'm pushing up to just get that spin in there. Now I'm going to give it another good spin, not too crazy. Give it another good spin, push that in. Then I'm just going to pull out any of the fibers that didn't get caught well. Now, I'm going to shorten this up so I don't hit the camera. And I'm going to make sure I cover that connection point between the butt and the body here, right? So now, just gonna create a little bit of a body there. Sorry, nice and scruffy. I want it nice and scruffy like that, right? And even sometimes I'll even just give it a pull out. So now come back to the bead. Oh, sorry, you gotta lubricate that. Give that a 2, 3, 4 turn whip finish. Get rid of your thread, push your bead nice and tight, excuse that, up against that. Put your thread back on, build a bit of a dam right in front. Cut off your excess, counterclockwise spin your thread again to get that flattened out so you can split it. It's flattened out. Just give it a bit of a rub there. There we go. Nice. That's how easy it is. And I'm freaking, oh, I missed it. I let it go. And I'm blind in one eye, so if I can do it, you guys can do it. So, again, get a nice split. Take a nice good chunk. A little bit more. Again, like I said, I can always take it out. So putting it in there, spread that out along that dubbing loop. Put a little bit more in right there. See if that'll be enough. Spread that a bit more. Should be fine. Because I don't want a thick noodle. I want a fairly thin noodle. I can always go over top again, right? So you see how that's slowly turning it? Even though I'm turning quite a few times in there, it's just slowly turning it. I just want to get that to catch. There we go. That looks pretty good actually. Okay, I'm going to shorten this up so, again, don't hit the camera. Right behind that bead I want to build up. There you go. And then move forward a little bit. Make sure you stroke some of that stuff back. If anything starts doing that, just dub it back on. And get up in front there. Just make sure you got that nice and tied. Give that a little bit of a brush again just to scruff it up. Okay. Pull all that stuff back. Create a bit of a head, tie-in point, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm going to take my India cock cape here and badger. And I'm going to find the appropriate size feather. I don't want to use one of these big suckers here because the barbules, I mean, look how it'll be huge, right? So And I don't want to use one of these tiny ones because they won't be big enough. I want this to go back to the bend of the hook, right? So I'm going to find a feather that I think will be appropriate length, and that's about the one I want, right about there. So then I got lots of length in there, but I'm going to go back until I know roughly there is the length I want. So that's where I'm going to peel off all my stuff. I'm going to nip it so I just have a little bit of the core of the feather. Tie that in on my side, 4 or 5 turns in front, bend over that center stem, cut that center stem off. I'm going to give it 2-3 more wraps just to make sure. I like putting in a half hitch right here just to make sure you don't knock it when you're doing your thing here. Excuse me, I have to work this back up. Now, you always try to, if you can, just bust that stem a bit, not break it, but just soften it. Otherwise, when you start turning, it can have a tendency of breaking on you. So, and some of them will still break no matter what. It's just the way it is. Even with these number 1 capes, sometimes they don't. They just do the odd feather. So, a couple of wraps. Take a look. Yeah, I think I want at least one more. I do usually. It depends. 3 to 4 wraps. Yeah, that's looking okay. I don't want it sparse like a spider, but I don't want it really bushy either, right? So now I've got that tied in, and I let go of it with my with my hackle plier. You want to try to get all the stuff stroked back. Just build a little bit of a head, just more than anything, just to hold everything back. Hold your thread tight. Grab your waist piece that's there, and just give it a bit of a pull. Then I'm going to, right here, do a little whip finish. Again, stroking as many of those fibers back as I can. Cut that off. Get my orange thread. Sometimes, if you've got these little errant ones, just lick your fingers a bit and get them out of the way. As you can see already, just by licking my fingers, imagine what that's going to look like when it's wet. It's just going to be really buggy and leggy, right? These hackles, they really will sit back nicely, and they'll just cut that close enough. They just act really cool. So again, you don't want very many. You don't want very many turns on the head here, right? So you're just gonna. I just got on just enough to basically just to hold it. And again, I've got a little one being a bugger there, so I'm going to just stroke it out of the way. And I want to build a little bit of an orange hotspot head. Okay, see, I did end up catching one there. Not a huge deal, because I can cheat. Pull that nice and tight before I do anything. Take the good old trusty lighter and just give it a bit of a zap, and it's gone. Oh, no, there we go. Now we got it. So, done ski. So now I'll take my dubbing brush and just give those fibers, those hackle fibers, feathers, a bit of a brush out. And she's done. Now, you see how I kind of created a bit of a tail with this dubbing? You can cut that off if you don't want it that fluffy. If you want that long, you can just give it a nip off. I mean, that's up to you. Sometimes I like them with a little bit of extra length in the back, some shorter. But just licking my fingers here, look how nicely this will slick back when that gets wet and look like legs and stuff, right? So these, like I said, they work really, really well. I like fishing them just like I fish any other nymph. I mean, they don't have a ton of weight to them. You can add underbody weight using that sticky back flat lead if you want. If you got a nice orange tungsten bead, you can throw that on there as well, or an orange brass bead. That'll help get it down. But I don't know. I've never found that I've really had to with this fly. I don't fish this in really, really deep runs in the rivers, but 4 or 5 feet deep, this is a killer. It's an absolute killer pattern. So nice and buggy. That's what you want. So if you like that video, consider giving it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. It really helps. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And if you like this, if you like my videos, just make comments. Let me know what you want to see. I'm open to tying anything you guys want to see. Pretty well anything. I mean, I'm not gonna tie a 40-minute long or 50-minute long fly just because it's just not hard for me to do, but it's hard to put that on camera and edit it and all that stuff. So it's just not feasible at this time. I might end up doing a large spay fly, or a large steelhead intruder or something like that, which usually takes me about 45 minutes to tie. But I might do that and then speed up the video with no talking or whatever. So, but yeah, so give that one a shot. And like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next tying video. Tie lines.